focus so far in doing all of this work without a calculator is so that it becomes easier to determine an equation for the graph of a given sinusoid. So let's look at this right here. Okay. Determine an equation of the graph for the sinusoid in figure 62. Provide clear reasoning. Right. Use example 8 for help if needed. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, I can go max to max, and I know that my period is equal to 1. Okay. If I look at my amplitude, right, my amplitude is essentially half of the range. Okay. Well, if my range goes from -3 to 3, right, then that distance from the center line up to the top gives me my amplitude, and that amplitude is 3. Okay. Now, the general form of my equation, right, will depend on what type of curve I have. Notice I start at a maximum, so I'm thinking some leading coefficient that tells me my amplitude, some cosine of something that might change my period times x. That this is my general basic form. Okay, that I have some change of my amplitude, some change of my period. Now, if I had additional things, if I had some phase shifts, some horizontal shifts, or vertical translations, right, I might see that my graph ends up being something like A cosine B times x minus h plus k, right, where this is my horizontal shift, which is also known as a phase shift when I'm working with sinusoids, and this is my vertical translation, right, what I moved up or down. Okay. Well, over here I notice that my period is 1. Right? Well, my period is given by 2 pi, my traditional period, divided by the magnitude of b, right? Whatever I'm compressing or stretching by. In here, I know that my period is equal to 1. Therefore, that horizontal stretch or compression, magnitude of that, is 2 pi. I start at a maximum, right? So therefore, I'm thinking positive cosine, and putting all that stuff together with the amplitude of 3, the period of 1, which gives me the horizontal compression, starting at a maximum, I know that my equation is y equals 3 cosine of 2 pi x. Alright, that if I were to look at this equation, alright, following the reasoning, here is my period, and it's a cosine, tells me I started a maximum. Oh, excuse me, here is my amplitude, cosine, tells me I started a maximum. Okay, 2 pi x, well, 2 pi divided by 2 pi is 1. There's my period. Okay, there is no vertical translation, and we're not working with a phase shift at this time. Okay, very important that we can understand that process. It is going to take some practice. Make sure you get that practice.